Okay, folks, welcome back to Phatkat Collections. Super excited to share with you Oceaneva's newest release. And this is one that, is, as soon as they sent out an email kind of teaser, I was like, man, I got to get my hands on this. So this is an incredible watch. I couldn't even wait until I got home. I actually ripped it open from my shipping courier and threw it on right then and there. Put the other watch I was wearing back in the Oceaneva box. And this is incredible. So let's check it out. So this is their newest Damascus steel release. And let me just start off with getting a couple close-up shots on this here. Get the camera to focus in here. Check this out. Unbelievable. So unique. Definitely, I don't think there's any other company who's coming out with came out with a watch with Damascus steel. It is incredible. So let me just, again, I'm just going to show you a couple more angles here, and then we're going to come back to this. I do want to show you more close-ups, of course, but I want to just talk a little bit about this watch here. So, all right, so what do you get? Now, first off, who is Oceaneva? So Oceaneva is a company behind a brand like the brand Aquasea you may have heard about, and Oceaneva. And Oceaneva is kind of like, I'd say they're top tier brand as opposed to Aquasea. Still amazing. I've reviewed Aquasea on this channel for quite some time. Still a great company. They're still a great brand. But Oceaneva really is doing something that honestly a lot of brands are not doing. You might say, well, what is that? That is tough nowadays because there are so many. The market is just flooded with different brand watches, and 99% of them giving you amazing quality. So I love that Oceaneva is doing things a little bit outside the box, right? I can't think of any other company, again, doing Damascus steel. So we're going to talk about Damascus. So I'm just going to Google it, give you guys just kind of a quick rundown. An incredible piece. So let me get right to the specifications on this. So there's some things that really stick out. Now, you guys know I'm not super critical when it comes to, I don't really nitpick watches, right? But there are things that are important to a lot of folks. And one thing that Oceaneva does is that although I may not recognize things, recognize specific features or checkboxes, as I like to call them, because to me they're not super important, but to the most watch collectors, a lot of folks do get down to the nitty gritty with these things. And what I mean by that is sometimes I'll say that sapphire isn't all that important in a crystal, right? And for me, I've never actually scratched any watch, so for me personally, I don't really kind of use that to make a decision when buying a watch. But one thing Oceaneva understands is that a lot of folks do, and so they're not gonna hold back. They're gonna fulfill all those check boxes that even the pickiest of watch collectors is looking for, right? So let me just read you right off their website, and this is their description. This is called their Deep Marine Explorer 2. Now, I've reviewed the Deep Marine Explorer as well in the past. It's one of my, I know I say it's all time, but it is, every time I pull a watch out of my safe, I'm like, oh man, it's one of my favorites. It's just, it's really easy to please, but I love Oceaneva because when I wear an Oceaneva, let me try to put this into words, right? So you guys can kind of understand where I'm coming from. When I pick up an Invicta, I love it. I get a lot of enjoyment. When I pick up a Pagani design, right? I love them, enjoy them just as much. But when I pick up an Oceaneva watch, there is a certain level of quality that I know they're putting into these watches that takes it to what I consider tool watch, right? And that's where a guy who is a professional diver or even a novice diver, whatever, if you're in the water and you're diving, I feel pretty confident that when Oceaneva puts a rating on their watches, that it's solid, right? And I believe when Invicta says, hey, this is 100 meters or whatever, I do give the companies the benefit of the doubt, but the best way I can describe this, if I had to put my life on it, I would pick Oceaneva on their ability to withstand depth ratings and depth water pressure, right? So I know that there's just a little bit of a I think a little bit of a cut above the normal quality when it comes to Oceaneva watches. And again, it's not to say that you're going to pick up an Oceaneva and compare it to like, a Pagani design and say, oh my God, this Pagani's a piece of crap, because I'd be a hypocrite saying that, because I don't feel like people, if you're being honest, I don't feel like you're going to do that with most watches out there. But I do believe that Oceaneva really fulfills all the check boxes, that nitty gritty that watch collectors are looking for, and it's a fantastic brand. And I get excited every time I open up one of their watches, even though this is what I would consider your standard styled watch. Some might argue and say that this is a homage to a, Submariner, but let's face it, there's nothing really, a Submariner is not an incredibly uniquely designed watch. Some folks say that the Submariner is a homage to like a 50 Fathoms. I don't really, I'm not going to say this watch is a homage to a Rolex Submariner. I think that this is just, it's a very basic, simple, round watch. And a lot of times folks are going to say, oh, it's a homage, and when really it's not. It's just its own thing, right? So let me just read to you what they say. So this is the ultimate Damascus steel watch for men, although that arguably that could be women as well. Embark on a venture with sophistication meets exploration with the exclusive Oceaneva Men's Deep Marine Explorer 2 1250 meter water resistant Damascus steel dial watch. There's 3 different variations of this watch. I had thought I was getting the white version, and the white one has an enamel face, bright white Damascus steel case, and then a bright white strap. We had a miscommunication. That one's not actually out for sale yet. It's not been released yet. It is on their site for pre-order. Again, links are in the description. Pick this up while you can, because if you are a watch collector and you have a lot of watches in your collection, I highly doubt you have a Damascus steel watch. They're just not that common, and we're going to get to the Damascus, don't get me wrong. You might have seen Damascus typically in knives, like Damascus used in swords and knives. But we'll come back to that. So it's only limited to 1,000 piece. I will tell you that Oceaneva does sell out. There is no guarantee they're going to bring this back, so get it while you can. And just let me just finish here on the description. It's not just a watch; it's a reflection of elegance, achievement, and quest for discovery. Again, limited edition, right? So I'm not going to sell you too much on that. All right, so what else? So it says unparalleled exclusivity and superior Swiss craftsmanship. So it says encased in solid Damascus steel and highlighted with Damascus steel dial. All right, so let me just cut to the chase here. Let's talk about the check boxes or specifications. So model number DM200DM. Again, Deep Marine Explorer 2. 4.7 ounces in weight, unsized. That doesn't really make any sense because this is a rubber strap. So what you see is what you get, right? I don't think you're going to go through this and cut this. I don't recommend you do that. It says here, Oceaneva stands as the only USA brand watch that sends their watches to ocean depths for real-world testing. There are several videos I've shared on this channel where you can check that out and witness that. You can also see that on their website. I'll put all the links in the description. You can read more about it. This one, as far as the movement, a big checkbox for many folks. This is got the Sellita SW200-1. When it comes, I've had Sellita in the past. At the end of the day, they all tell time, and they all tell time reasonably well. But when we're looking at watches that warrant, I think, a higher price tag, Sellita is definitely super well respected, and definitely something that I think a lot of times with watch collectors, you can only have so many NH35s in your collection before you're like, hey, I just want to get a different movement. It's not like you're going to see the movement. It's not like it's going to really make an all real-world difference. If you're going to throw them on time graphers, maybe, but to me, it's not a huge deal. But it is a 26 joule, 38 power reserve, 20,800 beats per hour, 4 hertz hacking, and quick date. So Sellita, when you say you have a watch with Sellita, if you do kind of, I don't really involve myself too much in the watch community as much as I love watches. It's just a well-respected movement, and it just people are just kind of like, they know that if you have a Sellita watch on your wrist, they know that you paid more for it, right? It's not a $100 watch at that point. What else? Case material. So here's where where this watch absolutely shines. So this is a layered. So you see if you can see the texture on this here. See all that texture, all that grain, as I like to call it, on the case. So you can kind of change the angle a little bit here, getting a little bit of reflection. There you go. You see it all around the bezel, all over the face. The only part of this watch that is not Damascus is the case back, which is just your standard 316 stainless steel. So, what is Damascus? So it's layered, forge welded Damascus steel. It is a combination of 304 stainless, or I believe it's 304 stainless and 316 stainless, sourced from a high quality German supplier. So based on what this says here, this is not, a steel that's coming from, a Chinese factory. Not that that should really dissuade you, but, there is an element of quality, I think, when we associate anything out of Switzerland or out of Germany. So it is made with German steel from a German supplier. So, there is 316 stainless steel, and like if you look at barbecues, for instance, some barbecues, stainless steel shouldn't rust, right? But I've had barbecues that you leave them out in the weather, the elements, they do rust. And I've had other barbecues that they've been outside 20 years. What was my Holland grill, right? That sucker, like not a dot of rust on it. So there's stainless steel and there is stainless steel. So just kind of keep that in mind. 316 is a fantastic material. I say it in almost every video, but this is a combination of 304 welded together to make Damascus steel. So it's, what else here? The dial color on this, again, is Damascus. I don't think the dial is actually Damascus in this, but I'm not 100% sure. It just states here Damascus steel is a dial color. It might actually be a layer of Damascus as well. I can't really tell by looking at it. I think it's more of like, I'm going to venture and guess that, well, I honestly don't know. Based on looking at it, I'd almost say that it's not actually Damascus on the dial, but I could totally be wrong in that. I'm sure Oceaneva watches will correct me, and I'll just put a little update in the description. But regardless, you have that Damascus look on the face. It's just like when companies use meteorite. Sometimes they use meteorite, sometimes they do like a synthetic faux meteorite. I'm going to venture and say that I'm probably wrong, because Oceaneva, they just do things just a little different. They really put a lot of quality into their watches. So we'll come back to that, of course. The crystal, another checkbox for many folks, is going to be your sapphire, right? That's what everybody wants in a watch. I shouldn't say everybody, not me, because I know that I've never scratched anything. So to me, it's not a huge checkbox. But when you're spending a certain amount of money on a watch, it's to be expected to get the most scratch-resistant crystal. You have sapphire in this with an anti-reflective coating, and it is domed as well. You can kind of see a very slight dome to it there. Get this to focus in. There we go. See that helium release valve? Very cool. Let's talk about the strap. So the strap is made of high-quality FKM rubber. They state that it is imported from Germany as well for production. Polished Damascus steel buckle. I don't consider that to be polished, but maybe, I don't think that's a polished buckle at all. That's more of like a traditional, the same look you get from the case. See if I get this to focus in here. Having a hard time kind of get back a little bit. It wants to focus in on me more than it does. There we go. Very cool. And when I think, when we think of polishing, we think of mirror polishing. So, this has got the same look that the rest of the case has. I love that they didn't just cheap out on the buckle and put like a black clasp on it. They put a huge Damascus steel buckle. It really brings that theme right from the watch right into the buckle. So it reeks Damascus. What else here? Another thing that they also wanted me to mention, and they do list it on here, is that the strap itself is actually screws. So they could have used just a standard, friction pin or push pin, but they actually used screws on this here. Whoops, let me get it on the side. You can see the screw. It's just generally when we see screws, it's sort of associated with a little more precision. I'm not really sure why folks really prefer the screw. I would state that on a buckle or on a strap, there probably is less of a chance, because I have had pins over the past. If you catch the buckle just right on something like that, and it's very rare that it's happened, but that pin will pop out, because it's just depending on a little bit of a spring on the inside there. I definitely think that having a screw in place of a friction pin is definitely, or a spring bar, is definitely, I think, a level of higher quality. But remember, they didn't do that on the case. So the case still uses your standard spring bars. Again, not something that I'm concerned with, or I don't really think one is better than the other, but some folks might. It does have that helium escape valve for deep water exploration. Again, limited edition to 1,000 piece, ultra scratch resistant bezel on this as well. It is made of Damascus steel, and it is unidirectional and rotatable. And again, the bezel on this, rock solid. Let me see if everything lines up. Lines up perfectly. I'm not going to pretend like the clicks on a bezel mean anything when it comes to quality, but I do think that, this is a nice, smooth, rotating bezel. It's no better or worse than any other Oceaneva watch I've reviewed. They're always great. There's no play. It's not wobbling. It's tight. It just, a lot of folks in the watch community really go above and beyond when they're like, oh, the back play. This sucker's I can't imagine a Rolex would be any better than this. I mean, I mentioned in another video I picked up a guy had a Panerai the other day, and you know, although it's a beautiful watch, I looked at it and I appreciate it, but I was like, man, I would never spend $12,000 on that. It's just, to me, I don't see that being any nicer than this. You pick up both those watches. They're nice watches. You look at them, you want to wear them. They look good. There was nothing that I saw in that Panerai that makes it worth $12,000. And this, are you ready for the price? $400 pre-sale right now. Pick it up while you can. This is not going to last. There's not many watches out there you can get, and don't come back and be like, oh, well, wait, Fat Cat, I found this. I know there's some out there, but there's not a lot of watches out there that give you all the check boxes, all the level of quality, all the, you know, all the bells and whistles that this watch does. $400, Sellita movement. There's tons of watches out there. I would expect this watch to be $400 with like an NH35, which still makes it an amazing watch. But Damascus steel, sapphire, screwed buckle, I mean, high quality components, Sellita, it's a rock bottom price. And I think this watch could actually warrant more, to be honest with you, because I sold watches that are, I'm not going to name the brands, but I sold watches by different brands that are, you know, in that $400 price range that people buy it, and they're getting Seiko NH35. So, I mean, which is, don't get me wrong, that's an incredible movement. There's nothing wrong with Seiko NH35. To me, I see no difference in time telling, but, you know, we all know that this is on paper, a higher grade movement in the watch community. I think we can all argue, if you were to ask anybody who's into watch collecting, which is a better movement, people are going to say a Sellita SW200 over an NH35. I can't back that up with specifics, but I'm sure there's lots of folks out there who can. Remember, they both tell great time. They both provide great longevity, but there is one that's technically better, right? I think it's safe to say that. You know, just like when we look at a Rolex, I'm sure a Rolex on paper is better, but does it tell that much better time to warrant the price? That's for you to decide. For me, this gives you everything, and for $400, again, that's an incredible price. I encourage you, if you're a watch collector, to get this. So let's see. All right, so what else do you get with this thing here? I'm not going to go too far into. I think I really touched on all the specifications except for size. 42 millimeter. Pretty standard. 4.7 ounces in unsized weight. Again, this is not, you're not going to size this. And they put condition new, obviously, right? And water resistance, again, 1,250 meters, 4,100 feet, 4,101 feet. And it's it says design tested by water pressure test for to 1250. And again, they state they're the only US-based brand to send their watches to deep depths. Oceaneva is one of these companies that actually, from what I, again, oh, and Screw Down Crown. From what I've heard and been told, a lot of times companies like this, these micro-brand companies, they're a real threat to brands like, Citizen, Seiko, Movado. Again, it's my opinion. Doesn't mean it's true. But, I just think when you look at what watch prices cost by other brands, you don't get this level of quality and specifications for $400. So I'm just surprised they came out. They hit everybody with this price. Now, as far as the other color options, I will state that the white one is incredible as well. That one has that kind of I think it's like an epoxy. Let me see what it is here. They state that it is a white enamel, excuse me. So white enamel face, and they have the black version with the black enamel face. If you're going to go with the black, I don't know why you'd go with the black enamel. And honestly, I'm not sure why they did that color, because, if you're going to go with a black strap, this is where it's at, to really have that Damascus look all over the face. The white, I'm always drawn to white, but I'm really actually kind of glad now that I got the watch that he ended up sending me the black. The face on this is breathtaking. I absolutely love it. It takes that Damascus theme all the way through the watch, whereas it's super noticeable. Whether that face is actually real Damascus steel or a 316 that's designed to look like Damascus, regardless, it's awesome looking. It absolutely is. And this one, I did state though, I would like him to send me, when they're available, a white strap, just so I can change it up and kind of get that little bit brighter, summery look. I think this would look killer on the white strap, but time will tell. When I do go over to the strap section, you guys will see this when you click the link. They do have the Damascus strap on this, and for 44 bucks you can pick it up. It's a white strap and got the Damascus buckle. You know, you could throw your own strap on this and just swap the buckle on this if it fits, but I don't know, I always kind of like to have you know, the strap that's made for the watch. However, I will give Oceaneva a little 2 cents in my opinion here. I think they should do a bracelet on this as well. Have a bracelet option. Now, I'm not sure it would look killer to have a Damascus steel bracelet. That would be a game changer. I've never seen anybody doing anything like that. And I hope that down the road, maybe they offer that as an add-on after people have bought this. Because if they had it on Damascus steel strap, like, I don't think anybody would go with the regular rubber. I like rubber, don't get me wrong. They're great, super comfortable, super reliable. But I'm a bracelet guy, and I would love to see this on a Damascus steel bracelet. Nobody has done that. So, very, very cool watch. Let me get some close-ups again here. Then we'll throw on the wrist here. I just want to really I just want you guys to understand how amazing this watch is. Let me just try. I just want to, because I'm getting a little bit of reflection here. You know me, unedited here. I just want to give you guys, just let me turn off these lights here. See if we can, now we're still getting some reflection there. Yeah, that doesn't really help us. I was hoping maybe that reflection was coming from the lights behind us, but try to get it on a little bit of an angle. That's a little better. Got the Oceaneva trident on the crown, and I've said it many times in many videos. I love the Oceaneva brand. I mean, and I love their branding as well. I think they knocked it out of the park. I love the trident. I think it's super clean, simple. The name is good on this. I just think this is this watch just does it. I mean, it's an incredible, incredible brand. I don't know. Sometimes brands just they really, you know, you look at brands like, I don't know, like some of the you know, the Chinese brands you get on AliExpress, and this goes across the board with many different products. You know, a lot of times I'm always like, this name is terrible. Like, for instance, one that constantly got a lot of comments on my channel was Neymar, when they came out with this Chinese company made a Neymar Rolex Submariner homage. And it's like, Neymar, like, why'd you pick that name? Like, it just confuses the watch with I think he's a soccer player. Oceaneva is just, it's just fantastic. I mean, when you say, what are you wearing? God, Oceaneva, there's like an element of like confidence and an element of like pride you have when mentioning what brand you're wearing. At least that's the way I feel about it, and absolutely love it. The trident is simple. You know, it's just, and this is something too, Oceaneva really listens to, you know, they don't have any crazy branding on the side, although I would not care about that, but you know, they know that some people don't like that. And, you know, they mention, oh, like with Invicta, I can't stand the branding on the side. You know, it's over-branded. When really it's just one extra marking on there. I'm sure you have some folks say, oh, I don't like it saying Oceaneva on the back. I'd rather just a trident. You're always going to get different opinions. But, you know, this is the kind of brand that they could brand the hell out of it. And it's awesome. I mean, look at how flashy this sucker is. And this is kind of like what I look for in a smaller watch. Although, again, I wear all different kind of watches, all different sizes. This, you know, generally when you wear a 42mm watch, it always needs something to kind of make it pop. And let's face it, if you were wearing a standard stainless steel 42mm, it's not really that noticeable or flashy. This sucker it just has an element of pizzazz to it. It's just so shiny. Let me throw it on the wrist here. So I have a 7-inch wrist. I weigh about 182 pounds. I'm 5'8". This is what it looks like on a guy my size, my height, my weight. Just a amazing watch for the collection. And I just want to thank Oceaneva for continuing to collaborate with Phatkat Collections. I love the loyalty we have between each other. You know, and they see value in the content I'm putting up, the honesty in the content that I'm putting up. And, you know, it definitely helps to really like a brand. And in all honesty, you know, if I reviewed a brand that I just was like, this is garbage, I don't like it, like, I'm gonna be very clear with that with the people watching. And the nice thing about the amazing watches that we have in this world now is that there's so many amazing watches at so many different price points. You know, we're not living in the 80s anymore where, you know, you get a $100 watch and it's garbage. The quality coming out of China and different countries is amazing, but once you get to that level of I don't know, collecting where you're looking to add stuff to your collection, a little bit of uniqueness and variety. This one definitely fills that desire. I mean, look at it. It's just unbelievable. That is it, folks. I hope you enjoyed that video. Oh, wait a minute. The case. Another awesome presentation. I almost forgot. You guys know I never really review cases. Oceaneva, it's worth reviewing. So you have your dive case. I believe they're always in this kind of like bright aqua, not really aqua, like a blue, like not really a royal blue, like a sea blue maybe. I love these. They're simple. They're not too big. I have the other watch I was wearing when I picked this one up. Let me get rid of that. You know, just your standard foam insert. You know, it's just a nice presentation. You have a warranty card here. No, it looks like a warning card. So do read this. You get it to avoid damaging your SW200. I'm not going to read it for you, but do read it. Don't set it aside like I normally do. You get a polishing cloth. You know, your hang tag, the basic stuff. Your warranty card. Mine is number 3 of 1,000. Kind of cool that you get that. They have that listed there. Hang tag, none of this is really too important to me, but I will state though, if you are gifting this for somebody, this is, you know, a very nice presentation, and I like this more than just a standard cardboard box. Generally boxes like this, I don't know, you have to kind of think about the person getting a watch. This is a lot of fun to open. You just feel like you're getting a watch. It's, you know, built for diving, which this watch is, so very, very cool. I like these more than the Invicta ones. The Invicta ones are just huge, where this one is a little bit larger, but, you know, it's just, it is what it is. You guys know, I'm not going to get too excited over the box, but it does give you a nice presentation, and I hope you guys like it. So do let me know what you think of the watch. I am curious. I've been waiting for this one for several, what feels like months now. You guys are going to love it. This is the kind of watch that, and again, I encourage you, get it on the pre-sale, but if you do like, you know, white in a strap, and I really do, go ahead and get yourself the white Damascus strap as well. I wish they had an option that included both. You know, maybe that's something that, I think a lot of times, well, at least they have the option, right? So, I mean, it'd be kind of cool if you got both straps, but it kind of forces you to buy another strap. But I definitely think $44 is not really, you know, crazy. If you go on like AliExpress or DHgate or Amazon, you know, straps are going to run you, you know, I don't know, 10 to 20 bucks. So this, you're getting a branded Oceaneva strap with that Damascus buckle on it. Again, screwed in, very cool, very high quality. You're going to love it. I know you guys are going to order this watch. This one's not going to be off my wrist for several weeks now. So thanks for watching. Let me know if I can help. And ask any questions through the comment section or drop me an email. I'm always at your disposal. And you guys have a fantastic day and take care.